Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21. It's career mode. We're on episode 51. It's the Tour of Portugal. It's 11 stages. It's a small Conti Pro race. The first 10 stages were all quick simmed. All of them. But I want to finish this thing off right. Stage 11, 30k time trial, punchy time trial. Gusenyov was on terrible race day condition and is terrible at time trials. He's dead last of the 6 that have crossed the line so far. Kalnin's, we've been trying to zero in on the effort necessary, and I've been going with an 84, and I think it's going to be either an 84 or 85 is the tempo. Morenzi has been there on that 84-85 as well, and Roman, one of our 2 good time trialists, is ready to kick things off. And you can see today with race day condition, he's an 80 in the time trial, giving him a shot at the stage. We'll set off. I think he may be able to get away with an 85, and we're going to try to do that for a little while because these guys have been hanging on with an 84, and you get these little downhill sections, and all of a sudden that deficit turns into spare energy. But of course it does finish on a little bit of a climb. So we'll see where we're at here with Kalnin's and then kind of adjust accordingly on Roman. Roman just, it's a +1. Morenzi +3, but Kalnin's also has a +1. So will an 85 get him towards the finish? That is a steep little section right there, but then you drop right back down. And yeah, 1.5k to go. I think this 85 is going to be fine. In fact, I think we can push out a little bit harder as we approach the finish line for him. Is it bumpy or is the game just being that glitchy? Looks like this is a custom stage. Okay, into 6th. Into 6th from 14th where he was. So I do think that 85 is doable. In fact, I think Morenzi could probably start pushing that 86 as he approaches the finish, and Roman I think can hold that 85 pretty much throughout. Now Martin Guerrero, our other guy with a legitimate shot at the stage, not that either one of them is the favorite. There is a strong time trialist here with an 81 time trial, so we're gonna have to watch out for that guy as I like that you kind of get that little bonus there. In fact, I think you could almost start pushing 86 for Roman because, well, A, you're downhill, and then you're going to get that little downhill again. You're going to get some recovery. Morenzi approaching the finish line and nearly out of energy. That's well managed. That is 9th place for the non-time trialist there. And again, I think Roman is looking pretty good for a strong result here. Pushing 85 throughout. Seems to be working just fine. He's going to get that little recovery, and now we can push for the finish. 87, not even hurting him too bad. 88, final kilometer. 89. Roman, 500 meters. Finish it off strong. Only 4th, 46 seconds down. He could have gone harder. For sure, because he had a little bit left in the tank there at the end. I think you can muster that 86 off and on as you go along the way. You can't do it throughout those downhill sections, though. Will make it possible. So I think with Martin Guerrero, it looks like it is possible to push a little harder than what we did. We kept Roman right within the limits at that 85. And that was a little too gentle. Martin Guerrero, 81 time trial today, 80 resistance. So let's start right away with an 86 and get him going with that. You get these little downhills, and you'll get that little bit of recovery. So I think we're going to try to run about an 86 a lot of the way and then just conserve. Now, here's the fun part about this. Martin Guerrero, 3rd on the team. 8th overall at 8.5 minutes down. Kjakovci, who's about to kick off. Not a great time trialist, but not terrible. He's a 71, 0 on the race day condition. I mean, I would have hoped for a little bit better on that. But he sits 5th overall, 6 minutes down. this is why I'm excited about this stage, because we've got a chance to get something out of this race. Okay, Martin Guerrero in the lead at the first time check. Remember, there was climbing. That was Roman's issue. I think that's why Roman is probably down a bit, is Roman is not a climber. Martin Guerrero, on the other hand, is that combination of both. And you're getting a little bit of recovery there from Martin Guerrero, and he's still looking pretty good. Now, here is why I really wanted to finish this off, is that Berlikov leads the race. He leads by 1.5 minutes, and he's got a very good chance to hang on and win. But of course, Berlikov, not really a time trialist. He's supposed to be a stage racer, but he does not have time trial rating. He's a climber. 70 is his time trial. That's tolerable. And let's see, 1.5 minutes could be enough, but I mean, you're looking at a 1.5 minute gap just to 10th place right now, behind Polyakov. So keep an eye on these guys as we go along. Martin Guerrero flying past Bizcarra as we approach the finish. And that 86 has held up for him. He's been able to push 86 almost throughout this thing. And you can see he is absolutely motoring along. He is just flying. Kikovci holding up with that 85 fairly well. Martin Guerrero, I think we can probably push 87 now. 800 meters, yes. 89, 94, 99. And he attacks. And he's got the stage lead ahead of Polyakov with only 7 guys beside him left to go, and we know 2 of them aren't going to beat him in Kikovci and Berlikov. I don't know, is Polyakov the one that was the favorite? I wasn't paying close enough attention to that. Kikovci, I think, can start pushing 86, 87 towards the finish, and let's check back in with Berlikov, who was 12th at 25 seconds. Again, his climbing ability gave him a bit of help through that first sector where it was slightly uphill. Kikovci, meanwhile, is coming up final kilometer. We are trying to maintain a strong GC position for him, and we will attack to the finish line, and that is 10th at 1:17. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Berlikov, though, he is struggling a little bit. A little. He does not have the spare energy. The red bar is already down a little bit, but I still think he's got enough to get there. Maybe. Maybe. If we can keep him in the top 10, though, that's definitely setting him up to hang on overall, hopefully. Okay, can he get a little recovery there? He does just get a tiny, tiny bit of red bar back, but he's pushing towards the end. Now 1K to go. And that energy is not going to hold on much longer. He runs out just before the finish line, but that's going to be enough to get into the top 10. For a non-time trialist, that is a solid result. We get a stage win, we get 3 guys inside the top 10, and the other one who was in the top 10 in the GC wasn't too far down on the stage either. What is this going to do for the overall? Well, we'll find out in a moment. Obviously, for Berlikov, it's enough. He hangs on to the victory by nearly a minute over Kanto, Cepeda, Haas. Kikovci hangs on to 5th. Martin Guerrero moves up 1 spot ahead of Aru to 7th place. Okay, that's good. A win, a top 5, another in the top 10, a stage victory. Yeah, good result. And it's something that I have never seen beyond the first season. I know it's in the game, obviously, but I've never experienced it because I've never held on to riders long enough to have this happen. And this is my first time. Shotaro Uribe, who was the team leader by, oh my gosh, how much better was he? 4 or 5 points better than everybody else first season? Something? I don't know. I do not remember, but it was a 72. He was a 72 overall, and he was significantly better than every other rider on the team. I think we had 1 or 2 guys in the high 60s, and then him at 72 from our kind of random assortment of riders that we started with. But he has now gone kind of full circle, where he's gone from the best rider on the team to now one of the worst. At 35 years of age, he's not even that old. He's still a good bit younger than me. But anyway, definitely losing a step. Very much no longer our sprinter. Not that he really has been for a while, but even as early as this season, he was still pretty dang close to being one of our best options. He just didn't have the resistance, where other guys who still don't have much for resistance certainly offered a bit more than him with similar sprint and acceleration speed. But now Uribe, who still has acceleration, the acceleration hasn't gone down, but the sprint has gone from 73, 74 down to a 71, and the resistance, which was already awful, is now just a 60. His flat rating just a 64. He's done. He's finished. But it's also his last year, so it's all good. He's going to be gone soon, and along with a number of other guys who just haven't kind of either lived up to their billing or, were those kind of first season guys that we held on to or got just when we had no profile, when we couldn't recruit anybody better. Now recruitment, not so much an issue, and we can get pretty good guys at a pretty affordable rate. The one difficult thing coming up is the expiration of Berlikov, who at an 81 is going to have insane demands. Martin Guerrero, I think, is somebody we may be able to hold on to, and, to be honest, long-term is more well-rounded, more suited to Grand Tours than Berlikov is, but Berlikov, as a fantastic climber, is going to be a danger for many, many years to come. And both guys are just 22 years of age. We've got absolute gems. There's zero chance of re-signing both, and I think there's a much better chance, based on ratings, to re-sign Martin Guerrero. But you go a year from now, minus 9 days, how much better is Martin Guerrero going to be at that point? Is he going to be a 79, 80? Will we be able to re-sign either of them? Into the final week of August, and there is no change at all among our riders in terms of leveling up. So we have the exact same profile as what we had, or at least the existing riders. We have the exact same profile, and we are already on the cusp. We're already on the bubble, 19th. As I said, I figured we are going to get bumped down at least 10 places, or roughly 10 places, and that is looking to be the case for now. Yeah. The rankings, you can see we're currently in that last slot. Only one Conti Pro team besides ourselves are threatening to make their way into World Tour. That's Del Hayes, which I've been trying to figure out which team that is. It's Continental Pro team, but I don't know sponsorship-wise who they took over from. But looking down, you could see why I still strongly think we're likely going to be Conti Pro again, but unlike last season, we'll be comfortable this time, and that hopefully should get us into some more World Tour races. But anyway, you can see one of the two teams that is threatening or threatened to be out, Bahrain Victorious, just below us. You figure they're going to find somebody. Quebeca Assos, who was bumped to Conti Pro, look on the verge of coming back up. Delco, Alpecin Fenix. That's the next four teams behind us. You're looking at four teams with significantly larger budgets than what we have, and likely all of them going to or at least 3 out of the 4 move ahead of us. And then you have other, candidates like a B&B, Rally, Lotto Soudal is the other one who's way down here. They probably still have quite a bit of money to play with. Even if they've struggled this season, they're still going to have quite a bit of money out there. And here's what's threatening to bump us off the bubble. George Steinhauser, a name I actually have heard of. 81 mountains, 79 hills, 80 acceleration. I mean, this is dangerous. Young 22-year-old who's a 79 overall already. Yates and Quintana all available out there. A couple of 78s, including Sepp Kuss. Christian Perry, 20-year-old. Alishin, 22. Vandertuk, 23. There's Abner Gonzalez, who we were targeting, is still available out there. It'd be nice if we could get him signed, but whatever. But that's quite a few 77s and then 76s. And between those 76s and 77s, somebody's going to sign one of those riders, and it's not going to be one of the teams that's already above us. It's going to be somebody below us, and it's going to give them that edge. Because again, right now our index, our average is 77 points amongst our top 3 guys. You bump somebody's average up a little bit by signing any one of those 10, 15 riders that are still available, and it's over for us. Because again, we're on that bubble. Our one chance is a big level up in, like, say, Martin Guerrero. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. The proverbial fat lady has not sung. And it took all of 2 days for Delco, Quebeca Assos to both move ahead of us. Apple to come out of nowhere to be just behind us. And Alpes and Fenix somehow has gotten worse over that last little bit. Or is that because these others have all gotten better? Maybe they have an older rider that actually is getting worse. I don't know. But either way, we stand in that same position we were. And like I said, it was going to be destined for the low 20s based on the profile, based on what's out there. And sure enough, 21st. And there's still riders left to sign. I mean, they're not done yet. Just so you know what we're up against, Mark Hershey is way down on the list of favorites. This is the Bretagne Classic. This is the only quality World Tour race that we've been in for quite some time. I think since the Tour de Suisse was our last World Tour race. And there's only one more World Tour race that we still have on our calendar. And I don't know if we've gotten an invite or not with it. It's possibly far enough out that it just hasn't been selected as of yet. Meaning, this is really our last chance, because that other one, even if we get an invite, it's not going to be anything. Tour of Guangxi. So, this is all we've got. It's a classic. It's punchy. It's 240K still to go, even though we've already done about 10K so far. 5 riders off the front thus far. And this isn't necessarily our best team. Isakov, not so much. Rivera, with race day condition, is definitely going to be one of our leaders, I think. Mugisha, maybe protect Rivera, or Isakov will. Martin Guerrero, absolutely one of our guys. 80 mountain, 76 hills today, 78 resistance. We will ride for him. So that's 2 leaders picked out thus far. Let's go ahead and get Isakov on duty with Rivera, and then we'll get Mugisha on duty with Martin Guerrero. Igashin is one of our better punchers, though he's not a great climber. Roman, he'll be a support guy today. And then Yurcevic, like Igashin. Let's see, any difference between them? Resistance. Igashin is better in resistance. The -1 not amounting to anything. He's losing 1 point in downhill is all. Is Roman a better option than those guys? No. You need a puncher near the end. We'll at least have that. I think we've got our 2 leaders, and then we've got these guys that are going to mostly kind of get themselves towards the end. But I think we'll go ahead and use Roman. Protect Igashin. Pick up Yurcevic, and then we're good. All right, 161 in the Peloton. 1 off the back, so 162. Chasing 6 riders who now have 2 minutes plus, so the breakaway is established. We have lots and lots and lots of undulation on the day, but nothing severe, nothing too steep. But when you start adding tempo of these top World Tour teams with these top punchers, I would think that Igashin and Yurcevic, who do have an okay punch to them, aren't going to fare well. For us, it's going to come down to guys that are combos. So Rivera and Martin Guerrero have a much better shot of getting some sort of result out of today. And with 6.5 minutes, that's a healthy gap, but it's already coming back. So we've upped the tempo quite early in this one. Okay, let's go ahead and get water for the first time inside 180K, which means we'll need to get water 3 total times today, roughly every 60 kilometers. So far, everybody holding up pretty well, though we have seen the blinking red a few times, meaning the tempo that is being run by these World Tour teams is a little bit more than what some of these guys can effectively keep up with. Gap now at 4.5 minutes. Breakaway still 6 strong. And already down to 142K on the day. And everybody's still at full strength. That's a good thing. Only a single -1, and that's Igashin, and we already saw that really isn't impactful for him. So we did get a good draw. We should have had a good draw. I mean, we had a guy who's on a fitness peak +2. We had another guy who's sitting on a +1. I think he actually had this as an objective of some kind. And we are now set for water trip number 2. Back to get those bidons. Roman went so far back to get those. Said this late last year, but I was really hoping that PCM21 was destined for a revamp of the system involving team cars, from getting water, getting proper gels. The model that they've introduced into the Tour de France game with waters and gels is much better than the model that they have here, as we are blinking red pretty bad at this point. Tempo has really picked up with 85K to go, and that was one of the worst climbs of the day. We don't want these guys drifting too far back. They might become disconnected, so we're gonna have to start pushing a little bit more with the likes of Jurcevic, who's riding solo, Igashin, who's just not a very good climber. How's Rivera this far back? We want to conserve, we just don't want to get split off. But with 152, you figure it's not going to split yet. Ramon's getting tired, Magisha's getting tired. This peloton is going to start shrinking, and we are just seeing moderate numbers start to drop off the back, now at 150. The 6 riders still off the front, down to 1:45. Oh, Jurcevic, the split happens right in front of him. I think he's going to be okay to get back on. Lotto Soudal looks to have 3-4 riders right there, and they do regain contact with just 4 additional riders split off, who are quite low on fatigue. We're going to have to start pushing even harder here for Jurcevic. It's one of the biggest, hardest climbs of the day. And he very much misses a big split. A lot of ground to cover for him to get back up there. But if we push much harder, he just wouldn't have any energy. Igashin was also momentarily split off. Okay, it's time for him to start pushing a bit harder. And we've got 4 guys at the front as we go through some gravel sections. These are the type of gravel sections that don't actually impact anything. Rivera, Martin Guerrero, let's push those guys up to 80s. Igashin in the chase group that is just off the back of the peloton and have a very good chance of regaining contact, and have regained contact. Jurcevic, grab yourself some water, please. Igashin, Roman. Is Roman got enough in the tank to get water? I don't think he does. There's now more than a minute between them. But we need water one last time. I just don't think he's necessarily the right guy to get that right now. Maybe Igashin is, and Roman is going to have to just protect him as long as he can and then ride solo. 50K, let's do that. So Roman is going to protect Igashin while Igashin gets water. And then Roman's going to run out of energy, drop back, be done, be gone. I don't think Jurcevic is going to be seen again, as he's 3 minutes behind. And Roman does some protection and is now out of energy, and that's why I figured he's not going to be able to get water and get back. You can see he's now struggling and going backwards as we hit this undulation here, so he's out. At the moment, we have just 24. Magisha, he's fading. Roman Okay, Yurcevic. Let's go ahead and set him to auto. We're not going to see him again, even though he's got some energy. And how we looking up here? Isakov is our protection guy. We got 3 riders to protect with 27k to go. The breakaway was caught, but Pollitt has just attacked. And we have, what, 4 hills left to cover? And we're starting to see some splits. Back groups going. 9 riders pushing, 10 riders pushing. Back together, 64 now. Now we're really starting to see that Peloton fall apart. And we again see a few guys on the move. Rivera never got water. Isakov, Martin Guerrero. Igashin apparently gave up on his task and these guys never got water. Well, that's disappointing, to say the least. 20k to go. I have my 2 leaders, and maybe we just contribute to the attack. Especially as this group is kind of yo-yoing and coming together. A couple of Ineos guys. Kwiatkowski leading out Hayter. Hayter, 83 hills. He's a real contender. But Kwiatkowski looks pretty tired. Wow, that is terrible ratings for Kwiatkowski. Are you kidding me? A 74 mountain for Kwiatkowski? Guy's won the World Championships before. He is a much better rider than they are giving him credit for here. And he's not that old, so he shouldn't be dropping down. There's still 2 riders off the front, and there's 7 riders that are a bike length away from us regaining contact. What just happened? Oh, Igashin's done. Isakov is done. And this is happening so fast. 13k to go now. We are on the penultimate climb. I want Rivera to lead out Martin Guerrero. And use your gel and go effort up, buddy. We've got to not only make contact with these guys, but we need to be moving up into a position to actually contend. But I want to wait just a moment to do so. We've got a downhill coming, and I'm not seeing an attack right now. And we want to set up the last climb of the day. The 2 off the front are Pidcock and Schachman. Now Rivera bringing us forward. 10k to go.
The finish line is getting close.
Okay, let's get a quick look at the profile. Yeah, 1 steep little hill and then a little bit of a descent to go. Mataway, Schachman, Pidcock. So Mataway joining those 2. Rivera can start pushing a little bit harder. We will not gel up just yet, but we need it for the climb. Not necessarily the sprint after, as we're not going to win a sprint. Neither one of these guys very quick, though Rivera has better acceleration. And that brings us to the front in preparation for that climb. Almost there, 6k to go. Turn the corner. Is it right-hander? No, left-hander. Then the climb. Here we go.
Into the last 5 kilometers.
Rivera. Rivera attacking. Martin Guerrero following.
And they keep on attacking. Anyone that's low on gas,
Rivera, nice attack for him. He's not getting separation, but he was going full gas and setting up Martin Guerrero with 3k to go. Martin Guerrero, okay, come off the wheel. 80 is not where I want you. I want you to follow Godou. 1.6k. Sprint it out. Can we get a top 10 here? We don't have much ground to go, but the sprint time was good. I think that's good enough for a top 10. Hayter takes the win. Boy, Ineos looked like they were struggling, but the 83 mountain for him works out. The sprint works out. Alaphilippe, Van der Poel round out the podium. Hershey, Costafoy, and we do get in the top 10. Martin Guerrero gets 9th place. That's good, considering this was not necessarily our discipline. We're not that good as a punchy team. We're definitely a mountain team first and foremost. Punchy is a pretty distant second, so getting a top 10 here against many of the best punchers is pretty good. We beat Pidcock, we beat Godou, we beat Bernal. That's a good day. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.